So my educational experience, I went to a public school in northern Indiana. It's called Concord Community Schools. Suburban area, I would say it leans towards rural rather than urban, but it's definitely suburban. Um, and to preface, I guess I would say three out of my six grandparents, I have step grandparents, so I have extras, were educators in the public education system. So I definitely grew up around education and hearing the ins and outs of it and how it's changed. So I would consider myself pretty well versed in this area. So my educational experience prior to GB. I think for me, Concord helped prepare me for college, but it was definitely because I was in the position that I was in. I was in honors first grade to 12th grade, which I don't think was a good thing for me. That's a whole other story, but because I was in honors, I had like the good, not that there were bad, well, there were some bad teachers. I had the better teachers in the school, I would say, and I had the ones that saw that I could be pushed, and they did push me. I mean, from freshman year on, I had an English, well, I only had him freshman year, but I followed him. He saw that I was a good writer, would give me special assignments because he knew that I needed more than just what he was giving other people. So in that sense, I think I was well prepared for college. I took the AP classes, the IB classes, but I don't think that that's the experience for most people at my school, my sister included, honestly. I don't think she's getting the same experience I did. I was also in student council. I was involved, so I was close with our administrators and all of that kind of stuff as well. So I had that as well. Something I wish I had learned more of, probably most people will say this, but personal finance, I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about taxes. I don't know how to budget. I don't know anything like that. I wish I took a personal finance class. It wasn't required, so not everyone took it, but I don't remember any of it. It didn't do anything for me. So I wish that was something. Interviewing and just professional skills. I think I went to school with a lot of people that didn't go to college. Where I'm from, there's a lot of people that go work in trades. But even for that, to some extent, you need professional skills. So I wish that had been taught, soft skills, things like that. And then also media literacy, which I feel like is more college geared. But I think that even having a workshop or something about it would have been helpful, just in the sense of what media should you be trusting and what shouldn't you be trusting, and what should you look for to know if something isn't real, things like that. And understanding the media that we're using and the impact that it has, I think would have been really valuable. And I've gotten a lot of that being in comms, but I think even just in other majors outside of comms, you don't get as much of that. Some things I wish I could change in my district: staffing. Again, I was in student council, so my advisor was actually one of our secretaries. I was really, really close with her. I still am. I'm calling her later today, actually. Spent a lot of time in the main office, and there are so many people doing work that is not in their job description, and they're not getting paid for it. They get paid shit in Indiana. So I think that's something that definitely could use some work. Access was my second one. We lean, I would say, towards the rural side of things. So some people live really far away. Plus then, school of choice on top of that. Some people live really far away, and that's a different issue. But we also are on the low income side of things as well. So we have a lot of free and reduced lunch, but I don't think it's accessible enough. And then technology, we talk about it in class, but a lot of people don't have access to Wi-Fi like we assume people do. Things like that, I think we could do better with. And then this one is not, I don't think it's actually doable, but something that I felt really strongly about now and when I was in school is the amount of say that the public gets in education, specifically parents. There's a group called Purple for Parents, and I know it's everywhere, but specifically in Indiana, it's big and it's bad. But it's essentially parents that are against like liberalizing public education, and those are the people that you hear like starting the Don't Say Gay campaigns and like trying to ban books and things like that. Basically just trying to block educators from educating. So we had a lot of that, like when I was a senior, as well as like the year right after. It's calmed down a little bit since then, but they're just so suffocating and very present where I'm from. And I think that the board feels really obligated to just kind of do what they say so they shut up. And I wish that that wasn't such an issue, but obviously being a public school, that is part of it. So that's one. Issues in the American system: inequality across rural versus urban schools. Again, kind of what I've already touched on, like transportation, access to technology, income levels. I think things like that, just we're not balancing that well. I think the rich schools get a lot of money that I think the rural schools could use more of. For example, Carmel and Fishers in Indiana, those schools are insane. If you've never seen Carmel High School, I would encourage you to look it up. It's insane. But I mean, the amount of rundown schools in the rest of the state, it's kind of upsetting. I said no unified curriculum. I think that there should, well, I'll talk about this later, but I think that it should be more universal. And then restricting access to important information. So, the banning of books, basically just trying to erase history, and you just can't do that. It's only going to make things worse. And then role of government. I am a firm believer in the Department of Education. I don't see a way that not having that in place would work. I think it should be an educator at the head of that, or at least someone education adjacent. And again, I've already, kind of talked about this, but universal curriculum, I think that there should be a general guideline that everyone has to follow of, here are the core things that kindergartners need to do. Here are the core things that high schoolers need to do. Like, there should be more consistent learning, because I mean, even being from Indiana, sometimes like my roommate will talk about something that she learned and I'm like, I've never heard of that, I don't know what that is, but it's like, it's something I should know, and vice versa. So I think that's something that needs to be considered. And I mean, that can change year to year, and it can change with what's happening outside of education and what skills are actually needed in the real world, like AI. That could be taught, how to use it well and ethically, things like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on my educational experience thus far. Overall, it's been good, but I think that there's a lot of room for improvement.